There we go. Hello, hello. Sad here, and this is my mother, Ingrid.
Hello?
And today we're going to briefly tell you about the rural area lives of Sweden. Oops, I got an SMS text there. So you are from Jämtland,
Yes, in the middle of Sweden.
in the middle of Sweden towards Norway. And Jämtland, let me just briefly mention that it has a really interesting medieval history, because in medieval times, Jämtland was actually one of the high seats of Sweden. Like the old nobility lived in the capital was Sigtuna, which is closer to Stockholm, I think, in that time. And you had some really big fortresses in Småland, and then you also had Jämtland, which was, numerous population place, and you had Goth Gothland is an island, and you had Gothenburg. So those were the Goths, and so they were the Goth, the Svea people, which is where Sweden comes from. We are Swedes, and you have the Jämtar people, which lived in Jämtland.
Mm.
So that's like the old history of that. But then in the Industrial Revolution, Jämtland stayed fairly small, so it's not very high population there.
No, it's not. But we were Norwegian for a while.
You were Norwegian for a while too, yeah. Norway around the medieval times, Norway they were warring and invading England, right?
Mm.
So England was formed when Denmark lost to the Britons or whatever people were there, and Norway was Norway English actually has a lot of Norwegian in it because there were Norwegian settlements in the north of England
Mm.
and Scotland there. So, and you have a little bit of sort of that towards Norwegian language in
Yes,
your.
many words that's the same in Norwegian and in Jenska.
Yeah. So if I speak Swedish, I can say, "Hey, jag heter Sed. Hey, my name is Sed," and sounds pretty straight. But if you speak like a little bit of Jämtska,
Jag heter Ingrid och jag är från Jämtland.
je hate. So that's jag heter compared to my name is. So different style, those old accents.
And girls is Storsan.
Storsan, yeah, that's very different from
And
Swedish.
boys is Pöjkan.
We can say pojkar in Swedish, so that's a little bit towards boys. Yeah, and potatoes you say pera,
Peran.
which is more towards pears. But yeah, that's something you see in multiple Swedish accents. And then so after the Industrial Revolution and there's like war times, that's when your mother and father lived in the early 20th century. And they were farmers
Yes.
next to the Great Lake in Jämtland.
Mm.
So you're sort of a farmer girl, but then in the move towards modern society, you did not keep on with farming life in the same way.
Do you mean my parents or I?
Yeah, your parents were more like farmers, or well, your mother worked at school, cafeterias and stuff, or the dining cafeterias.
No.
She was kokerska and
But only at home.
oh, she was mostly at home. Okay.
She
So
was
they were full
for
farmers.
farmers.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, my bad.
And at that time it was a big farm, 7 cows and 3 mother pigs with 13 small pigs every year,
Piglets.
piglets every year. So it was a big farm for that time.
Yeah. And then you went on to like modern lifestyle with education and
Yes, and I'm a nurse.
became a nurse. And through your various life adventures, you ended up in Piteå, further north, but towards the coast. Jämtland is inwards the lands, towards the Norwegian mountains and the Swedish mountains. It's like one of those mountain arches. But what did you think about the change in scenery to Piteå?
Uh, I miss the mountains and the skiing because it was great skiing in Jämtland. And but it's better climate
Yeah.
here in Piteå. Better climate.
It's a bit cold and drafty in
Mm.
Jämtland and a
Yes.
bit warmer here.
Yes, it's always snow on the mountains, so it's cold,
Yeah.
even in the summer.
Yeah, I remember when we visited that part of the family in like in spring and autumn. You really had to wear full cover hat,
Yes.
like beanies and stuff, because the draft around your ears was quite sharp.
And the sea is big, and then it's cold because it's very deep. All the seas in the mountains is very deep, so they never get warm.
Yeah, the lakes. So there's no seaside there, but it's lakes.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
It's because the Swedish word for lake is sjö, so easy to get that bit mixed up. But yeah, that's a little bit of introduction. So into the modern life, you were a nurse and you had your family life, and
Yes.
now your kids are urbanized too and moving to like big cities for a while and
Yes.
universities. And that's how
Yes.
it goes, right? So your father, did he have education and training to be a farmer, or was that just something he picked up?
He had some, I don't know how long, maybe only 1 year in a farmer school outside Östersund.
Yeah, so Östersund is the big city in that province, state.
But very little. He taught from his father.
Yeah, that's what they did that
Yes.
time. They apprenticed to their fathers, right? And they just kept going with their.
And then he had two cousins that was neighbors, close neighbors, and all their life they worked together. They helped each other with the harvest and everything. They helped each other. And I think they had a beautiful life because they were never alone, and they
Did
could all, if someone was sick,
they covered for
ill,
each other?
they
Yeah,
covered for each other, they helped each other, and they got, it was great, great cousins.
yeah,
And they all had a very deep belief in God and God's plan with the life, and God is in the nature, and He's preserving them with what they needed. So I think they had a very good life.
yeah, yeah. I personally find it the old like village cultures very interesting because they had that a certain degree of intimacy where neighbors kept they looked after each other and such. Yeah, so that's interesting. Actually, the first time I heard of neighborly care was when I lived in Stockholm working at the airport. And there was an Eritrean guy who's like, "You Swedes, you don't have any connection to your neighbors. Like, who's there for you when you get hurt? Your family? No, they live somewhere else. It's your neighbor that's there
Yes,
for you."
it's very, it's big. To,
There's a wisdom in it.
yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Ingrid.
You're welcome.